Okay, hi students. Welcome to Diamond Group of Institutions, NEET and KSET online classes. Today we are going to discuss about the semiconductor devices. Okay, so very important chapter. So from this chapter we can expect two or three questions. Okay, now solids we have the three energy gaps, energy bands. So what are those energy bands means? One, see here we have the three energy gaps, valency band, conduction band, forbidden energy gap we have. So three energy bands. So now here this forbidden energy gap is separating the valency band and the conduction band. So in the valency band we have the bonded electrons, and in the conduction band we have the free electrons. So if these electrons get the sufficient energy, that energy is more than the forbidden energy gap, then the electron will jump from valency band to conduction band. Then it will, that material will behave as a conductor. Okay, now see forbidden gap for the conductors. In the conductors, this valency band and conduction band will be overlapped. So no forbidden energy gap here. So forbidden energy gap for the conductors is zero. Now in the insulators, this valency band and the conduction band are separated by the 5 electrovolt. Okay, now separation between the valency band and conduction band is the 5 electrovolts in insulators. Remember, in the semiconductors, the forbidden energy gap is almost it is equal to the 1 electrovolt or more than something 1.2, 1.3 like this. So we have the semiconductors, two semiconductors, we know that one germanium and silicon. What are the forbidden energy gap value for the germanium and silicon? Remember these values are very important. Germanium ki forbidden energy gap is 0.7 electrovolt and silicon ki forbidden energy gap is 1.2 electrovolt. And here one more thing you have to remember for the conductors and for the semiconductors, temperature coefficient. Okay, so temperature coefficient for the conductors is the positive. That means temperature increases, resistance also increases. And in the semiconductors, if temperature increases, resistance decreases. That's the temperature coefficient for the semiconductors is the negative. This point you have to remember. In electricity also you will get these points. Okay, next come to see the semiconductors. Semiconductors may we have the two type of semiconductors: intrinsic semiconductors and extrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductor means pure semiconductors. These are made up by the germanium and silicon. So if to increase the conductivity more, this pure semiconductor will be doped with the suitable impurities. So the doping of the pure semiconductor, then it will become the extrinsic semiconductor. So depending on the dopants, we have the two type of extrinsic semiconductor: p type semiconductor and n type semiconductor. The p type semiconductor may, that means p type semiconductor is nothing but the pure semiconductor is doped with the trivalent dopants. That means here nothing but the boron, aluminum, gallium, indium, etc. So here this trivalent dopants are one trivalent dopant produces the one hole. So if you are increasing the number of trivalent dopants, it will increase the number of holes. So in the p type, the majority charge carriers are the holes, and here every trivalent dopant producing the one hole, it will accept the electron from the neighbor atoms. So that means these are the called as the acceptor impurities. Remember this one, in theory you will get all this. Just important points only we will discuss here. So in n-type semiconductor, so pure semiconductor, pure intrinsic semiconductor is dopant by the pentavalent. Here arsenic, phosphorus, etc. These are the elements, atoms you have to remember. And next here every pentavalent dopant provide the one extra electron. So due to this one, number of electrons increases. In n-type, majority charge carriers are electrons and minority charge carriers are holes. And these pentavalent dopants also called as the donor impurities. And one more thing you have to remember here, p-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductors are electrically neutral. That means here for pure semiconductor, that means germanium or silicon, we are adding the one more atom to that one. That means we are doping with the either this boron, either this arsenic. That means we are doping the atom with the one more atom only. So here no loss of the electron or low loss of the electron. So just charge is conserved. So that's why here this n-type and p-type semiconductors are electrically neutral. And the next come to see the conductivity of semiconductors. So in the semiconductors, the conductivity is due to the holes, electrons and holes. Okay, now the current flowing through the semiconductors is due to the holes and electrons. Okay, now the conductivity of the electrons is already we know the conductivity formula sigma equal to n mu e. So here n e is nothing but the density of the electron, mu e is nothing but the mobility of the electron, e is the charge on the electron. Okay, nh is nothing but the n suffix h is nothing but the density of the holes, mu h is the mobility of the holes, e is the charge on the holes. From this e is taken as common, then we will get the conductivity in semiconductor formula is E into n suffix E into mu suffix E plus n suffix H into mu suffix H. Okay, remember this formula. This is a very important formula. Here we are saying the mu. Mu is nothing but the mobility. Mobility is the ratio of the drift velocities to the electric field. With respect to the electric field, the motion of the electron or motion of the hole is nothing but the mobility. Okay, and the next one, if we combine the p-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductor, we will make the p-n junction. p-n junction. Okay, so in the p-n junction time, what will happen? The electrons in the n-type diffuse it toward the p-type and create the hole there, and due to that one junction is forming there. Due to that junction, one potential is developing there. So that is nothing but the potential barrier. So whatever the voltage we are applying to the PN junction diode or PN junction, so then that voltage should be greater than this potential barrier, then only it will be conduct. So potential barrier value for the silicon is 0.7 volt and the germanium is 0.3 volt. Remember this value very important, and don't get confusion for the potential barrier value for the silicon and germanium and forbidden energy gap for the germanium and the silicon. Remember these two values. And the next one, the PN junction diode, the uses of the PN junction diode. So using the PN junction diode, we can use half wave rectifier and a full wave rectifier. So here half wave rectifier, what is the use of the rectifier means it will convert the AC into the DC. And remember the half wave rectifier may average output to current formula and voltage. Okay, next I not this formulas you have to remember. And the next efficiency of the half wave rectifier is 40.6%. And the full wave rectifier also remember these formulas, output voltage and output current. And the next IRMS value is I naught by 2. Here I naught by root 2, here I naught by 2. VRMS value also here V naught by 2. In the full wave rectifier VRMS value is V naught by root 2. And efficiency of the full wave rectifier is 81.2%, double to the half wave rectifier. And the next some other diodes. Okay, some other diodes, nothing but the Zener diode, first one. Okay, the symbol of the Zener diode already you know. The formula for the Zener diode is Vz equal to Vn minus Is into Rs. So theory you can read that one. So now here Vz is a Zener voltage and this is the input voltage. Rs is the series resistance to the Zener diode, and the next Is is the current flowing through the series resistance. So to find the current across the through the Zener diode, the formula is Iz equal to the Is minus IL. Remember these formulas. Zener diode operate in the reverse bias, and this is specially designed to diode. Actually, normal PN junction diodes, if the reverse voltage increases, it will be damaged. So to continuously work at the reverse voltage, also be designed. They designed the Zener diode. Okay, na? Remember about the Zener diode. And here one more thing also you have to remember: Zener breakdown and avalanche breakdown is there. Okay, these are the very important. Zener breakdown, when it will occur means if the reverse voltage increases, electric field increases, due to that one covalent bonds will be break and more amount of the current will be flow through the device. That is the Zener breakdown. Avalanche breakdown means if the reverse voltage increases, the minority charge carriers collide with the covalent bonds and break the covalent bond. Due to this one, number of charge carriers increases and the current also increases. So just remember, in Zener breakdown में electric field is breaking the covalent bonds. In avalanche breakdown में minority charge carriers are breaking the covalent bonds. Remember that differences. And the next other diode is light emitting diode. So if suitable light fall on the diode, then it will emit the light. So this LED operate in the forward bias. Whenever this diode is in the forward bias and suitable light is fall on that one, it will emit the light. Okay, and next this light emitting diodes are made up by the gallium arsenic, gallium phosphorus, gallium arsenic phosphorus. By these metals it will be designed. Okay, next special purpose diode is the photodiode. So here photodiode, this will be operate in the reverse bias. When the suitable light fall on the diode, then electron hole pairs generates and produces the photodiode current. Okay, now I see the IV graph here. So on x-axis we are taking the reverse voltage, and on y-axis we are taking the photodiode current. So here we have the dark current. Dark current means without light, before falling of the light, how much current is flowing through the diode? That is nothing but the dark current. After that, if the light intensity increases, then the photodiode current also increases. So now here, this is the current flowing through the diode at I1 intensity. This curve indicates the current flowing through the diode at I2 intensity. That means intensity of the current increases, then photodiode current also, sorry, intensity of the light increases, photodiode current also increases. Okay, I2 is greater than I1 here. So we discussed already about this intensity and relationship with the current in the dual nature. Okay, next see the solar cell. So solar cell also here suitable light fall on that one, and it will generate the EMF, and after that it will produce the current. In the theory you will get all this information, and see the IV characteristics. So on I we are taking on the y-axis, and V on the x-axis. So now at this point, this is the open circuit voltage. So when the circuit will be open means the resistance of the load is the infinity. Then the circuit is open and current flowing through the cell is nothing but the zero. And this point is nothing but the short circuit current. So when the circuit will be short means the load resistance equal to the zero. Remember this graph. Graphs are very important here. Photodiode ki graph and solar cell ki graph. That's why I drawn here. And the next to go to the transistors. Transistors mein first I am writing the CB amplifier, common base amplifier. Common base amplifier mein we will give the input in between the emitter and base. Output is collector and base. Okay, now voltage, sorry, current gain. So current gain equal to the output current by the input current. Output is the collector and input is the emitter current. And the next voltage gain. Voltage gain equal to the output voltage by the input voltage. Otherwise from Ohm's law we know the formula V equal to the I into R. Based on this one, voltage gain equal to the current gain into resistance gain. So current gain already alpha we know. And resistance gain is nothing but the output resistance by the input resistance. Output resistance is nothing but load resistance, and Ri is the input resistance. So alpha into RL by Ri. Next, power gain. Power gain already we know P equal to V into I. That means power gain equal to the voltage gain into current gain. So voltage gain into current gain. So current gain into voltage gain, whatever it is. So current gain, the symbol is alpha. Voltage gain formula here we got alpha into RL by Ra. So alpha into RL by Ra. So we will get alpha square into RL by Ra. Remember this formula. And the transistor as a common emitter amplifier. The common emitter we will apply the input to the base and output at the collector. So now the current gain beta equal to the output current by the input current, IC by IP, and voltage gain equal to the, from this already we know, current gain into resistance gain. So current gain into resistance gain is RL by Ri. So here why I am keeping the minus. Just remember the difference between the common base amplifier and the common emitter amplifier. So here the phase difference between the output voltage and input voltage in the common emitter amplifier is 180 degrees. That's why minus. So in the common base amplifier, the phase difference between the output voltage and input voltage is zero. Remember that point, very important. And the next power gain ka formula. Power gain formula is beta square into RL by Ra. So from this we will get very easily. Next, remember, alpha is the current gain in the common base amplifier, beta is the current gain in the common emitter amplifier. Okay, the relationship between the beta and alpha I given the formula, remember. And the next logic gates. Logic gate में R gate का Boolean expression is A plus B, that means Boolean addition here. Okay, in the AND gate में Boolean multiplication here. So y equal to A dot B. And in the NOT gate may just complement. If we give the 0, we will get the 1. If we give the 1, we will get the complement. We will get y equal to A complement. And the NAND gate may, it is nothing but the AND plus NOT. Okay. Then we will get the output is y equal to the Boolean expression is A dot B complement. And NOR gate is, this is the symbol for the NAND gate and this is the symbol for the NOR gate. Remember the symbols. Okay, the Boolean expression for the NOR gate is A plus B complement. NOR is nothing but the R plus NOT. That means R, the output of the R passing through the NOT, then we will get the NOR gate only. Okay, now XOR. XOR gate ka symbol remember. This is the XOR gate and the Boolean expression for the XOR gate is Y equal to the A complement B plus A B complement. Remember this one. Okay, na? So in the classroom, I said already in the theory also, remember all this. and XNR ka symbol, just the difference between the XR and XNR is XNR, here we have to keep the bubble, not extra. Okay, now the Boolean expression for this one is y equal to a complement b complement plus ab. Okay, remember all this. Okay, next see the numericals. First numerical, in your classification, sixth question, the current in the circuit as shown in the figure is. So they given here 3.2 volts is the diode and the resistance is the 10 ohms and the other voltage is 3 volt. So they are asking the current flowing through this circuit they are asking. So see now again I read on the circuit here is a 3.2 volts diode and 100 ohm and is a 3 volt. And this 3.2 volt at the higher, this is the P side high potential and this is the N side low potential. So 3.2 volt at the high potential and 3 volt is at the low potential. So suppose if this diode, nothing mentioned means we have to consider diode is the ideal. If the diode is ideal, the resistance provided by the diode is very small, almost it is the short circuit now. If it is short circuit, then current flowing through this circuit is equal to the change in the potential by resistance. Here at high potential 3.2 volt, low potential 3 volt. Change in the potential is nothing but 3.2 minus 3, 3.2 minus 3. By resistance value they given 100 ohms. So substitute the 100 ohms. Now current equal to the 3.2 minus 3 is a 0.2 by 100. After simplification we will get the 2 into 10 power minus 3 ampere. That means 2 milliamperes. So 2 into 10 power minus 3 amperes. Okay. Next, see the next question is the question number 2 in your class discussion 10th question, a forward biased diode is. So don't do this type of questions hurry-burriedly, just do it very easily, we can get the 4 marks. So see now, if the diode is in the forward bias means P connected to the positive terminal and N connected to the negative terminal. That means P at the high potential, N at the low potential. Now see the A option. Here positive potential at the 0 volt and the negative potential at the minus 2 volt. Okay, and the next B option may positive at the minus 4 and negative at the minus 3, and the C option may positive at the 3 volts to negative at the 5 volts, and the D option may positive at the minus 2 volts, negative at the plus 2 volts. Once observe here, 0 is more, minus 2 is more. So 0 is more than the minus 2. So here this is at the high potential, this is at the low potential. So positive connected to high potential, negative connected to low potential. This is in the forward bias, right? And the next one, see here, this minus 4 is less than the minus 3. Magnitude is 4 is greater than the 3, but minus sign is there. So minus 4 is less than the minus 3. So positive P at the low potential and N at the high potential. This is in the reverse bias, not in the forward bias. Now see here, this P is connected to the 3 volts and this N is connected to the 5 volt. So this 3 volt is low potential connected to the P, 5 volt is the high potential connected to the N. This is in the reverse bias, not in the forward bias. Now minus 2 here plus 2. Minus 2 is less than the plus 2. So minus is the low potential at the P and the plus 2 is the high potential at the N. This is in the reverse bias, not in the forward bias. Check like this and take it. You can get very easily 4 marks. Now see the next question in class discussion 16. The combination of the gates as shown in the figure produces. Okay, the combination is given which gate it is producing we have to see. So here G1, G2, G3, G4, three gates given. So same as it is I am drawing here. So G1, G2, G3 and G4. Okay, remember here, suppose here I am giving the input is A. So this is nothing but the NOR gate, R plus NOT. First do the R. R means addition. A plus A. Here only one input. Here also A. Here also A. A plus A equal to A from the De Morgan's theorem. A plus A equal to A. And the next complement is then A complement. The output of the first gate is nothing but the A complement. Now we are giving the input here B. So here also B. Here also B. First R function. B plus B. B only. Next NOT function is there. B complement. So second gate ka output is B complement. Now these outputs are input to the third gate. Here A complement, here B complement. This is also NOR gate only. So now first to do the R. R means A complement plus B complement. Next NOT is there. So all complement. Okay, na? A complement plus B complement. First is the R function. Next NOT function. All complement. So simplify this one. So G3 ka output equal to the what will we get? A complement plus B complement to all complement. This from the De Morgan's theorem we can write it as A complement whole complement dot B complement whole complement equal to the A complement whole complement is nothing but the A only, and B complement whole complement is nothing but the B. AB we are getting. So the output of the G3 is nothing but the AB. So now here we are getting the AB output. Now this AB is the input to the G4. AB plus AB equal to the AB only. Now so AB plus AB is AB. R function completed. Next NOT function. So complement. So then we will get the Y equal to the AB complement. Okay. That means AB complement already in the logic gates time we discussed. AB complement is nothing but the NAND gate. Option D is the right answer. Okay. Like this you have to solve the problem. Okay. Next see the next problem. Circuit given below is the DUF. Okay. This is the circuit given here. So here we have the R gate, and in front of this one NOT gate is there. This one output is Y dash, and here we are giving the three inputs to this gate. Y double dash we will get output of this AND gate, and next we have the one more NOT gate, and finally we are getting the output Y, and that is which gate we have to find. Before that one, once listen, previous problem I explained to you some theorems, de Morgan's theorem. I said to you, so just remember this value. A dot A complement का value is 0. A dot A equal to A dot 1 equal to A dot 0 equal to 0. Next, A plus A complement equal to 1. A plus A equal to A only. A plus 1 equal to 1 only. A plus 0 equal to A only. The next, these two you have to remember. A dot B complement equal to, we can write it as A complement plus B complement. A plus B complement equal to, we can write it as A complement dot B complement. These two are the very, very important. Remember this one. Based on this only, this type of problems we will solve. So next see the gates here. So first A is here, B. So the A will, A is the input to the NOT gate. So the output of the NOT gate is nothing but here A complement. Okay, now A is the input to the NOT gate, output of the NOT gate is A complement, and this A complement and B are the input to this OR gate. Okay, now OR gate, OR function is nothing but the Boolean addition. So now the output of the OR gate Y dash equal to the A complement plus B, A complement plus B. Okay, now this output Y dash and A and B, these are the three inputs to, this is the AND gate. Okay, these are the three inputs to AND gate. The AND gate function already we know. So it will the Boolean multiplication. Okay, so now the output of this AND gate is Y double dash. Now Y double dash equal to the, so this is the first input, second input, third input. Product of these three inputs is equal to the output of the AND gate. So now output equal product A complement plus B into A into B. So A complement plus B into A into B. Just simplify this one. So already you know this one how to simplify also. A complement into AB. So A complement into AB. Otherwise AB into A complement, like this anyway you can do. So B into AB. So B into AB. Okay. Now see A dot A complement. A dot A complement equal to 0. 0 into something 0. This will become 0. This total will become 0. Plus either B dot AB is there. B dot B is nothing but A dot A is A only. So B dot B also equal to B. So B dot A or A dot B we will get. The output of the AND gate Y double dash is AB we are going to get. Okay, here we are getting the AB. Okay, now this AB is input to the NOT gate. Okay, so now this will do the complete. So Y equal to the, what will we get output? AB bar, AB complement. So now AB complement is nothing but the NAND gate. C is the right answer. Next, see the fifth question. In common emitter transistor, base current they given, alpha given, IC they are asking. Okay, common emitter configuration mein emitter is the common, collector is the output, base is the input. Okay, output current we have to find, input current they given. But here for common emitter configuration, current gain symbol is the beta, but they given here alpha. Alpha means this is the current gain in the common base configuration. So already we know the relationship between the beta and alpha, that is equal to beta equal to alpha by 1 minus alpha. So So substitute here beta equal to alpha value is 0.9. So 0.9 by 1 minus 0.9. So 0.9 by 1 minus 0.9 is nothing but 0.1. Simplify, you will get the 9 answer. So current gain of common emitter configuration is 9 we got. They are asking the output current. So current gain equal to the output current by input current. So current gain in the common emitter configuration equal to the output current by input current. Now we have to find the output current IC. Now IC equal to send IB to the set beta into IB. Beta value we found already 9. IB base current they given already 2 microamperes. So multiply you will get the 18 microamperes. 18 microamperes. A is the right answer. Sixth question, in the figure, potential difference between A and B is. So this is the diagram they given. So A and B. So the potential difference between A and B we have to find. Nothing mentioned means we have to consider the diode is the ideal diode. Ideal diode resistance is 0. Okay. So now I am redrawing this circuit here. So 30 volts and 10 kilo ohm, here 10 kilo ohm, here 10 kilo ohm. I am here at the place of diode, I am shorting the circuit. Okay, now see if from this diagram, they are asking the potential difference between the A and B. Potential difference between the A and B. To know the potential difference between the A and B, we know the resistance, but we need the current. So we have to find the current. To find the current, find out the first equivalent resistance of the circuit. Already how much voltage we are supplying we know. If we find the equivalent resistance, then how much current is flowing through the circuit we can find it very easily. So now I am giving the numbers. This is the R1, this is the R2, and this one is the R3. Now R2, R3 both are parallel to each other. So R2, R3 parallel to each other. So simplify it, we will get the 5 kilo ohm resistance. Okay, the equivalent, these two are the parallel combination. Equivalent resistance of these two parallel combination is the 5 kilo ohm. And this combination is series to this R1. So now equivalent resistance is R1 plus this parallel combination, okay, plus this one. Okay, R1 value is 10 kilo ohm already we know and given. And next already we found the parallel combination of these two, that is the 5 kilo ohm. Substitute here we will get the 15 kilo ohm. The equivalent resistance of this circuit equal to the 15 kilo ohm. And how much voltage we are supplying? 30 volt we are supplying. Now current equal to the voltage upon total resistance. Voltage is 30 volt. Total resistance how much we got? 15 kilo ohms. Now 30 by 15 K. So now 30 by 15 means 2 kilo means send upside. Kilo will become milli. So 2 milliamperes. Now current flowing through this circuit equal to the 2 milliamperes current flowing through this one. Okay, this current is reaching to here 2. So now this current will be divided into the two parts. Okay, so here ka resistance, here ka resistance. In this case resistance, in this branch resistance are equal. If resistance are equal, the current will be divided into the two equal parts. So 2 milliampere will divide into the two equal parts, means 1 milliampere is passing through this resistance and 1 more milliampere is passing through this resistance. Okay, now we can find the potential difference across the A and B. What is the resistance between the A and B? 10 kilo ohm. How much current is flowing through this one? 1 milliampere. So now potential difference across A and B is nothing but the B equal to I into R. I is the 1 milliampere. Milli means 10 power minus 3. So 10 power minus 3 amperes. And the resistance is the 10 kilo ohm. 10 into kilo means 10 power 3. So 10 power 3. This 10 power plus 3, 10 power minus 3 will be cancelled out and we will get the 10 volt. So potential difference between A and B is the 10 volt. Like this you have to solve the problem. Next question, seventh question. In the given circuit, the current through the battery is. So this is the circuit here. 3 diodes given and 1, 2, 3, 4 resistors given. So here see now, if they don't mention anything in the question about the diodes, means consider the diodes are the ideal diodes. Okay, now see here first. So 10 volt supply we are providing. So now current is flowing through this one here. So whenever the current is reached to here, okay, so current will go here in this branch, and this branch. 3 branches are there here. So, but here D1 diode is in the reverse bias, D3 okay forward bias, and D2 also in the forward bias. That means the positive is connected to the P. Positive is connected to the N and the negative is connected to the P. So this is the P and this is the N. For this diode, this is the P and this is the N. And for this diode, this is the P and this is the N. So D2 diode, positive is connected at the high potential, negative is connected at the low potential only, forward bias. And D1 diode, positive is connected to the N and negative is connected to the P, so it is in the reverse bias. And the next D3 is positive connected to the high potential, negative connected to the low potential, it is in the forward bias. Okay, see now here D2, D3, these two are in the forward bias and D1 is in the reverse bias. So reverse bias means this branch should become open circuit. So now I am redrawing this diagram here. So I am removing this branch. So after removing that branch, remaining D3 diode is there, D2 diode is there. Here resistance 5 ohm, here resistance 5 ohm, here resistance is 20 ohm. I am removing this branch. Why? Because the diode is in the open circuit. And the next to see, without mentioning anything, I said the diodes are the ideal diodes. So these are providing the zero resistance. I am redrawing the diagram again. So short circuiting, here also short circuiting, short circuiting. Next, what are they asking? Current through the battery. How much current is flowing through the battery? We have to find. Once you see now, this R1 resistance and this is the R2 resistance, both are in the series, and R3 resistance 20 ohm is parallel to this combination. So equivalent resistance of this is nothing but the 10 ohms. Okay, so and this combination is parallel to this R3. So now equivalent resistance is R3 parallel to this combination, R3 parallel to R1 plus R2. So now simplify this one. This is R3 is at 20 ohm and this equivalent circuit is nothing but the 10 ohm. So R equivalent equal to 20 into 10 by 20 plus 10. We will get the 20 by 3 equivalent resistance we got. So equivalent resistance of the circuit is 20 by 3 ohm and voltage is 10 volt supplying. Then current equal to voltage by R equivalent. Then 10 by R equivalent value is 20 by 3. 20 by 3 means 3. I am writing here 0 0 cancel. 3 by 2 means 1.5 ampere. So C is the right option. Next question is a very important. See now the real time variation of input signal A and B are as shown. So here these are the input signal given to the NAND gate here. The given the gate is the NAND gate. Just they are asking the output signal ka options they given. So first you see now here this is the A input and this is the B input. Okay, so here low high and low high. Okay, for this one also low high. So now low means 0, here also 0, high means 1, here low means 0, here low means 0, here low means 0, here high means 1, here high means 1. Okay, so now the inputs are given 0 0 1 0 0 0 1 1. So here I am writing same thing. AB inputs are given 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 0 0 0 0 1 1. Okay, 1 1. Next, this is the NAND gate. First do the AND function and NOT function. So AND function means 0 into 0 0, 1 into 0 0, 0 into 0 0, 1 into 1 1. Okay, this is the AND function. Next, the output is y equal to the A dot B complement. A dot B we found already. Complement we have to 0 ki complement 1, 0 ki complement 1, 0 ki complement 1, 1 ki complement 0. That means if AB is 0 0, output is high. If A is 1, B is 0, output is 1, high. A is 0, B is 0, output is high. A is 1, B is 1, output is low. Okay, now check the 4 options here. So now here first high. Okay, either high, either low, either low. So these 2 options are wrong. Second also high. Second time here high, here also high. Third time also high. Either third time is the low, but here third time is the high. So this is the wrong and this one is the right. Like this you have to solve this type of problems. Practice more, you can do these problems very easily. Next question, 9th question. In an NPN transistor, 200 electrons enter the emitter in 10 power minus 8 seconds. So how many electrons are entering into the emitter? 200 electrons. Now first find the emitter current. So emitter current equal to the current definition already we know. I equal to the rate of change of charge. Okay, dq by dt. So now here time mentioned 200 electrons are entering into the emitter. So emitter current I equal to dq by dt. How many electrons are entering? 200 electrons. 200 into each electron ka charge 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. Per time how much given? 10 power minus 8 seconds. Simplify, we will get the 3.2 into 10 power minus 9 ampere. So emitter current is 3.2 into 10 power minus 9 amperes. And next to see the question, if 1% of the electrons are lost in the base, then the current that enter the emitter and the current amplification factor. Okay, so they are asking the emitter current and the current amplification factor, that means current gain they are asking. Already we found the emitter current is completed. So in the transistors, the emitter current equal to the sum of the base current and collector current. Okay, IE equal to IB plus IC, remember this formula. Okay, next already we found the emitter current. Next see the base current. So how many 1% of electrons lost in the base. So IB equal to 1% of the emitter current. So 1% of the emitter current. So percentage means 1 by 100 into IE. No need to substitute the value here, just keep that. And IC value. So here total current, emitter current equal to IB plus IC. 1% is the IB means. So this IC equal to how much? 99%. So now IC equal to the 99% of the emitter current. 99 by 100 into I. So this they are asking the current amplification factor. That is nothing but the current gain. Current gain equal to output current by the input current. Output current IC is the 99 by 100 I. 9900 into I. So and input current IB equal to 1 by 100 into E. 1 by 100 into E. So 100 will be cancelled. IE will be cancelled. 99 is the answer is the 99. So emitter current is 3.2 into 10 power minus 9 and the amplification factor is the 99. Answer D is the right answer. Next to see the next question, last question. What is the conductivity of a semiconductor if electron density given, hole density given, mobility of the electron given, mobility of the hole given. They are asking the conductivity of the semiconductor. Already we know the conductivity of semiconductor formula. Sigma equal to the E into Ne mu plus Nh mu h. Electron density, electron mobility. Hole density, hole mobility. Okay, substitute the values. Now see here, this mobilities are in the SI units and the density is per centimeter cube, CGS system there. So convert that into the SI system. Already we know 1 meter cube equal to the 10 power 6 centimeter cube. From that 1 centimeter cube equal to the 10 power minus 6 meter cube. So now they given the electron density Ne equal to 5 into 10 power 12 per centimeter cube is there. Per centimeter cube equal to this will become 10 power. So that means 1 by centimeter cube equal to this. This will become 1 by 10 power minus 6 meter cube. Next 10 power minus 6 stand upside 10 power 6 by meter cube. That means per centimeter cube we can write it as the 10 power 6 per meter cube. So now at per centimeter cube place I am writing 10 power 6 by meter cube. Simplify, we will get the 5 into 10 power 18 per meter cube. Same way simplify the density of the hole also, we will get the 8 into 10 power 19 per meter cube. Substitute these values in the formula. E value charge 7.9 into 10 power minus 19. Electron density 5 into 10 power 18. Electron mobility given 2.3. Hole density the given how much 8 into 10 power 19 and the hole key mobility 0.01. Substitute here. So now from these two steps 10 power 18 I am taking the common. So I am writing the 10 power 18 here. Remaining 5 into 2 power 3 is nothing. 2.3 is nothing but 11.5 plus from here 10 power 18 I took the common. Only 110 is there. 10 into 0.01 is nothing but 0.1. 0.1 into 8 is nothing but 0.8. We got this value. And the next 1.9, 10 power minus 19 into 10 power 18 is 10 power minus 1 into this value is a 12.3. Simplify, we will get the 1.968. The unit is per ohm per meter. SI unit of the conductivity. Okay, per ohm per meter. The answer is the 1.968. 1.968. Right answer is B. Okay, problem. Practice the problem seriously. Easy topic and weightage topic. Thank you.